Stroud's beauty lies in its stillness. The rolling hills cradle the town in quiet, its cobbled streets echoing only the soft hum of life. But on a bitter November night in 1989, that stillness shattered. Wlakley Hill, an unassuming stretch of quaint homes and close-knit neighbours, became the setting for a nightmare. In the early hours of November the 12th, a fire's angry glow pierced the pre-dawn darkness. By morning, the world would learn of a murder so savage, so chilling, it would leave this peaceful town in a shroud of terror for decades. This is the story of Carmel Gamble, a woman who lived in the shadows, whose life was consumed by a darkness that no one saw coming, and whose death still whispers unanswered questions. Carmel Gamble wasn't the kind of person you'd notice in a crowd. She wasn't the kind of person who wanted to be noticed. At 43 years old, she lived a life of deliberate seclusion in a small, ivy-clad cottage on the boulevard. The home was her sanctuary. A place to control the chaos she felt pressing against her from the outside world. Years earlier, Carmel had left her hometown of Stroud to chase something brighter. A career, perhaps, or simply a life that felt larger than the confines of Gloucestershire. She found a husband, a composer, and a flat in bustling Wimbledon. But her battles with anorexia, 15 years of relentless, debilitating struggle, shaped her existence. At the time of her death, she weighed just under 5 stone. Her body a fragile reflection of her inner turmoil. Neighbours rarely saw her. When she did venture out, it was at twilight, when the streets were hushed and she could move unseen. Her routines were precise, her movements predictable. She was a woman of order, clinging to the fragile threads of control she'd woven around herself. But something, or someone, would tear those threads apart. Thursday, November the 9th, 1989. In the quiet streets of Stroud, Carmel was seen walking alongside a man that no one recognized. They visited Rumblow's, an electronics store, together. The man, a slim, scruffy figure with dark, shoulder-length hair, seemed out of place. His eyes were described as staring, unsettling. Witnesses watched as the pair entered the shop, noting the way the man lingered close but darted away whenever staff approached. His behavior was strange, evasive. When an employee spoke to Carmel, the man slipped out of sight. Who was he? A friend? A stranger who'd wormed his way into her life? The police would later release a photo fit of this man, but no one came forward to name him. He remains a ghost, a shadow tethered to Carmel's final days. 2 days later, on Saturday, November 11th, Carmel's routine carried on, or so it seemed. At 4:30 p.m, she visited So-and-So, a small haberdashery, and purchased 6 buttons. Half an hour later, she walked into Boots on the high street, picking up a few small items. The shop manageress remembered her clearly. Carmel was polite, composed. Nothing about her demeanor betrayed the storm that was about to engulf her life. But after she left the shop, she vanished. Did she walk the mile back to her cottage on foot, slipping through the fading light unnoticed? Or did someone offer her a ride? Maybe someone she trusted. Or not. maybe someone she feared. The truth is, no one knows. Sunday morning, November 12th, began like any other day for Wlakley Hills residents. The autumn air was crisp, the town slowly stirring awake, but at 8 a.m, smoke began to rise from Carmel's cottage, thick and black against the pale dawn sky. A local man noticed movement in the phone box across the street. Moments later, a call came through to the fire brigade, a calm, measured voice with a soft Irish accent reporting the blaze. By 8:20 a.m, firefighters were at the scene, battling the inferno. Inside, amid the smouldering ruins, they found her. Carmel's body, beaten beyond recognition, mutilated with chilling precision. The fire hadn't killed her. Flames were merely a cruel afterthought, an attempt to erase the horror that had taken place within those walls. Piles of clothing soaked in paraffin had been set alight, their acrid smoke a testament to the killer's desperate attempt to cover their tracks. But nothing could obscure the savagery of the crime. Detectives scrambled to piece together the puzzle of Carmel's final hours. Witnesses record seeing a figure sitting on a bench near her cottage that morning, their head in their hands, clutching a white plastic bag. Was it the killer grappling with guilt, or was it someone else entirely, another shadow in a case already teeming with them? The phone call reporting the fire became another haunting thread in the mystery. The caller's Irish accent was distinctive, but the man behind the voice disappeared, leaving no trace of his identity. As the days turned to weeks, the investigation grew colder. The man from Rumbelows, the stranger in the grey herringbone jacket, remained nameless. 7 years later, a witness would come forward to confirm she'd seen him with Carmel again, but the revelation offered no new leads. And then there was the fire itself, the calculated way it was set, the choice of paraffin as an accelerant. It all spoke of someone meticulous, deliberate. But why? What drove this person to such lengths? Over the years, theories have swirled around Carmel's murder like mist over the hills. Some believe the man from Rumbelows was a predator, exploiting her isolation to gain entry into her life. His presence in her final days seems too significant to ignore, but without a name, he remains a phantom. Others wonder if the crime was opportunistic, an intruder who stumbled upon her and unleashed unthinkable violence. The mutilation, however, suggests something more personal, something fueled by rage or obsession. Two convicted murderers, both with ties to the area, became persons of interest. One had killed his parents in Tetbury just 2 years after Carmel's death, his crime bearing a similar frenzied brutality. The other was known for his ability to manipulate and charm his victims, but despite their profiles, no evidence linked them to Carmel. Today, Wlakley Hill carries on, its idyllic charm masking the scars of its darkest hour. Carmel's cottage has been rebuilt, but for those who know the story, it remains a place of unease, a ghost in the heart of the neighbourhood. So, who killed Carmel Gamble? Was it the man in the grey jacket, his staring eyes hiding unspeakable intentions? Was it the mysterious caller slipping away into the fog, or was it someone no one ever suspected? Someone who blended seamlessly into the quiet fabric of Stroud? Someone that could be living there now? Decades later, the questions persist, hanging in the air like the smoke from that terrible fire, and as long as they remain unanswered, the shadow of that night will never truly lift. The mystery of Carmel Gamble's murder is one that may never be solved, but we can only hope that somewhere out there, someone knows something, and perhaps with time, the truth will come to light. That's all for tonight's episode of Sunday Night Mystery. If you have any information related to the murder of Carmel Gamble, please contact your local authorities. You never know. Your tip might be the one that finally brings justice to a case left cold for far too long. Thank you for joining me on this unsettling journey into the unknown. If you have any information about tonight's or any of the cases that we feature, please contact your local authorities. Stay safe, and until next time, keep questioning, keep searching, and keep unraveling the mysteries of our world. Because time, like a merciless predator, marches on, leaving behind shattered dreams and broken promises. Yet, amidst those shadows of despair, glimmers of hope remain. Join us next time as we delve into another chilling mystery that continues to confound investigators and haunt communities. Until then, stay vigilant and never forget those who've been lost to the shadows. Until next week, stay safe. Remember, the truth may be hidden, but as long as we keep the investigation alive, it's never truly lost. I'm Brett, and I'll see you next time on Sunday Night Mystery. But for now, stay curious, stay vigilant, and be sure to guard yourself against the darkness that surrounds us all. I'll see you next week on Sunday Night Mystery.